Hi, my name is Purvis, and today I'm going to be doing demoing blood administration. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to perform hand hygiene, and then I'm going to go over my physician's order. So we have Atrique, Jerry, Atrique, VIN number 261-824-375. He's 52 years old. So we're just going to note that all these orders are double signed and properly transcribed. So we have an order here for today now. So we're going to be giving packed red blood cells, 1 unit over 2 to 3 hours. And we have some general orders here, but we don't have to worry about those right now, so I'm not going to worry about them. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And then the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to go over my consent form. So it is properly signed and filled out, and it is valid, and that's good. So I can go ahead and set that aside as well. So from there, I want to go ahead and I'm just going to prime my tubing here. So I'm just going to note that I do have the right tubing. I'm going to note that we have an emergency saline line running just in case we have transfusion reactions. And then I'm just going to note that we have a 250 bag of normal saline that we're going to use to prime, and it's not expired, so that is good. I'm also just going to note that we have checked to make sure that we have a patent IV line before we grab our blood, so that is good. So from there, without breaking sterile technique, I'm going to go ahead. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that all of these are closed. Okay. And then we are going to go ahead and we're going to prime this without breaking sterility.
And then the thing is, like, for the first 3 minutes of recording like this, and then I switch to like this.
Okay, so that's good. Like I said, make sure all these are closed. So we're going to go ahead and hang this. So after we hang this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to prime it through. We want to make sure that these, the filter here is saturated, so that one's closed. We're going to open this one, and then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to squeeze this. Okay, so now that this is completely saturated, that's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our line here, and we're going to prime it to the end. So once we primed it to the end and we have no bubbles, it's ready to go for us. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to lock this off because we don't need the normal saline anymore. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this here so that I can go ahead and do the rest of my stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to perform hand hygiene. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to compare my record of transfusion with my demographic as my first check. I'm just going to note that I'm a student nurse, so I normally don't count for this, but for the sake of this demo, I will count as one of the nurses. So we have Jerry Atrique, Jerry, Atrique, and my buddy nurse will double check here. My second nurse, sorry, Jerry, Atrique, so that's correct. Then we'll check the VIN number. So we have 261-824-375, and then my buddy nurse will double check here, 261-824-375, so that is correct. So after I've done those checks, that's all I need to check on the demographic. I'm just going to go ahead and set it aside. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and do my second check. So I'm going to be looking at the record of transfusion, and my buddy nurse will be looking at the blood tag. So here we go with the name. So Jerry Atrique, Jerry, Atrique, Atrique. My buddy nurse will confirm Jerry Atrique, Jerry, Atrique. So that's correct. VIN number 261-824-375. My buddy nurse will double check 261-824-375. So then we're also just going to want to go ahead and compare the donation number. So we have C0510-08900445Y in a box, and then we have C0510-08900445Y in a box. So my buddy nurse will confirm that that's correct. So we're just going to go ahead and look here. So the patient blood group is AB positive. And then here, sorry, we also have my buddy nurse will double check it's AB positive. And then here we have component blood group AB positive. So my patient has gotten 2 cross matches, so we can give them their blood type. And then my buddy nurse is gonna check that that is also what the component blood group of the bag is. So after we've checked all that, I'm just gonna make sure that the cross match is not expired, cross match not expired, cross match. So it says approved for issue, cross match expires in 3 days, so that's perfect. So once we've done all of those checks and everything checks out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to our next check. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be checking the blood tag, and then my buddy nurse, my second nurse, will be checking the blood bag. So we have Jerry Atrique. So this information isn't on here, but I like to go over it just to be sure. Jerry Atrique, Jerry, Atrique, Atrique. So that's the correct patient. VIN number 261-824-375. So that's correct. So after I've done that and checked that, we're going to go ahead and check the donation number. So we have C0510-08900445Y in a box, and then here my buddy nurse will check C0510-08900445Y in a box, so that's correct. So we're also just going to check the component blood type. So we have AB positive is the patient's blood. We're going to be giving AB positive, and then my buddy nurse will check that that matches here. This is AB positive. So once we've checked all those things, we're just going to also make sure we have the right blood, the right product here. So we need red blood cells. So here we have red blood cells. We're going to note that they're leukocyte reduced. We're also just gonna check that the volume is 358 mLs so that we can put it into the pump. So that is correct, 358 mLs. So that's good. And we're just gonna also check that the blood is not expired. So once we've done all of those checks, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna check the bag for any abnormalities. We don't have any leakage, no streaking of the blood or anything like that, so that looks good. So after we've done that, we're gonna get ready to go to the patient's room, but first I'm just gonna note that we have our cross match here, and then here's where we'd fill out all of our vital signs for this patient. So after we've done that, I'm gonna perform hand hygiene, and then I'm gonna go to the patient's room. So upon entering the patient's room, I'm gonna do my entrance safety check, making sure the patient's in no distress. I'm gonna introduce myself. Hi, I'm Taylor Purvis. I'm a nurse at University of Manitoba, and I'm going to be administering your blood products today. So I'm just gonna ask them to excuse me while I do my 4th check, and I'm gonna get my buddy nurse to do this with me. So I'm gonna be checking the blood tag, and my buddy nurse will be checking the wristband. So I have Jerry Atrique, Jerry, Atrique, Atrique, and then my buddy nurse will check here, Jerry Atrique, Jerry, Atrique, and that matches, so that's good. And then I'll check the PIN number here, 261-824-375. My buddy nurse will check here, 261-824-375, so that's correct. We'll also just check his birthday. So from there, I'm also just gonna go ahead and ask him his name and get him to spell it out letter for letter, and then also ask him his date of birth. We will check that on the wristband, it all checks out. I'm also just gonna ask him about allergies. He says he has no known allergies, so that's good. So after we've gone ahead and done that check, I'm gonna go ahead and just explain to the patient, so you're severely anemic and you need a blood transfusion. I'm just gonna explain that to him. I'm gonna ask him if he's okay to get that transfusion. He says it's fine, so that's the right to refuse. So for the right evaluation, I'm just gonna note that I already said that we do have the emergency IV line there, and I'm just gonna note that I have done baseline vitals. I will do vitals 15 minutes after the infusion, so I will stay with the patient for the first 15 minutes. And then I'll be doing them once every hour during the transfusion, once immediately post-transfusion, and then once an hour after the transfusion. So after I've noted all of that, I'm just gonna go ahead and give the patient a little bit of education. So I'm just gonna give them some of the signs. So if they're feeling feverish or short of breath, or they have hives or itchiness or anything like that, it could be a transfusion reaction, and they should let me know immediately. So after I've explained all that, we've done the right evaluation, and the patient is okay to go ahead with the procedure, I can go ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and perform hand hygiene, and then I'm going to put on a pair of clean gloves just in case we come into contact with any blood. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we're going to hang our blood here. So I'm going to make sure that this is closed. And we're going to go ahead and with sterility here. So we're gonna make sure we don't touch any of this stuff.
Needles for these, but the first time we're just using one because.
Okay, so once I hook that up, I can go ahead and hang it. So we're gonna go ahead and hang that. So that's perfect. So now we're gonna go ahead and we want to prime this blood all the way to the end because the 15 minutes does not start until the blood touches the vein. So we're gonna open up the blood side here, and we're gonna let it go through, and we're gonna open this. We're gonna let it all the way to the end here. So just to speed it up, I'm just gonna take this cap off. And get the blood all the way to the end. So make sure that I don't break sterility there. We're gonna cap that off now that the blood is at the end. Or sorry, not cap it off. Close it off here. So after I've done that, I can go ahead and I can put the blood tubing into the port here. So we're gonna go ahead and press primary, then we're gonna press open.
So now I'm ready to do my second check. So my rotation of paramarcy, recommendation of morphine, by morphine PDM. So this is morphine. My right dose for today is going to be going 50 milligrams, which will be about 5 to 10 milligrams.
So we're gonna go ahead and make sure that took that. So after we made sure that that's taken, I can go ahead and now that it's in the pump, I can go ahead and I can hook it up to my patient. So I'm gonna go ahead and get an alcohol swab. And like I said, I've already checked that this is a patent line, but we wanna make sure that we flush it before we hook it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and we are gonna say that that was 30 seconds in a circular motion. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure we get all the bubbles out of this. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wanna flush the line. So it's flushing nice, which is perfect.
And then
So that's good. So once it flushes, we're gonna go ahead and aseptically, without breaking sterility, we're gonna hook up our patient here. So once the patient's hooked up, I can make sure that all the lines are open. I'm gonna make sure that the line for the saline is closed and the line for the blood is open. So now I'm gonna go ahead and program. So we're gonna go to change mode, and then we're gonna go to label line, select, and then we're gonna wanna go to red blood cells, select. And then, so we have the volume here is 358. And then the rate is 50. So there we go. You did a good shot of that. Rate 50, volume 358, so that's correct. So once I've made sure everything is good to go, I'm gonna let the patient know that we're gonna start their blood transfusion. So we're gonna go confirm primary, and then we're gonna go ahead and press start, and I'm just gonna go ahead and look for 3 drips in our chamber here. So once I see the 3 drips, we're good to go. I can go ahead and take off my gloves and perform hand hygiene. From there, I'm just gonna go back to the patient and make sure that they understand everything that I taught them earlier. And then I'm also just gonna let them know, like I said, that I would wait with them for the 15 minutes. So after the 15 minutes is up, I'm gonna go ahead and take another round of vital signs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to change the rate on the pump. So what we're gonna do for the rate is we're gonna do 358 minus the 12.5 that's infused over the 15 minutes. And then we'll take that, so it's 345.5, and then we're gonna divide it by the 1 hour and 45 minutes. So divide by 1.75, which is gonna give us a rate of 197.4. So we're gonna program that in. So once I've done that, I can leave the room once the 15 minutes is up, and once it's reprogrammed, I'll let them make sure that they have the call bell within reach. And they can call me at any time if they have any of the issues that I listed above. So then we're gonna go ahead and we can leave the room, and then from there I'm gonna want to document. So I want to document on ins and outs sheet, and then I also want to make sure it's double signed by 2 nurses because it is a 2 nurse check, and then I'm done.